Just a quick heads up before we get started. As the title implies, if you haven't already experienced this content, this video will have spoilers, so proceed at your own risk. The Champion's Ballad DLC starts by having you pick up a special weapon shown here at the Shrine of Resurrection, and then complete 4 additional shrines on the Great Plateau using only this weapon. If you're looking for a quick tip on this section, I recommend wearing Majora's Mask as it will help immensely with the combat sections. However, we're going to focus on the boss fights later on in the content, as they were a fresh challenge that limits you with little amounts of gear for the fight, so I'm going to break down each fight and how to get through them as easily as possible. And with all that, let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do before each boss fight is make and eat a mighty simmered fruit meal with just 5 mighty bananas. This attack up buff is going to carry on over into the fight and will last the duration to help you out immensely, so highly recommend. We're going to start off with FIREBLIGHT Ganon here though first. So he's going to have 2 basic attacks, and he's going to have a horizontal one and a vertical one, which are telegraphed just like so. That's his horizontal attack. You can dodge that with a backflip if you time it right. Obviously I did not. The other one is a vertical attack. This one's much easier. Just sidestep it, get that flurry rush, and get that attack in. You're pretty much only going to need to do this about twice to push him into the next phase, so just keep an eye out for which attack he's doing. Either that horizontal one, you're going to do a backflip, or this vertical one, do a sidestep, get that flurry rush in there. With those attack up boosts you got going on, he's going to go down super quick, and we're going to start phase 2. He starts off pretty much every time by doing this like big inhale attack like the Octoroks do around Death Mountain. So you're just going to want to go over to where he teleports to, get your bombs ready, and then as soon as he starts doing inhale, just throw a bomb at him, pop it, he goes down, sprint up there, and then I recommend just doing a charge attack with your two-hander and just spin to win, and he will go down very fast. If for some reason that doesn't take him down, just repeat that process, dodge anything he throws at you, throw that bomb at him, and repeat. Alright, next up we're going to move on to WATERBLIGHT Ganon. This one is pretty simple, but also has its own challenges. We have 3 weapons here to start. I'm going to swap to one of the weaker ones for the first phase. We're going to use the stronger one for the second phase. This is going to start very simple. He does a straight attack, which, like FIREBLIGHT, you're going to dodge to the side and just get your flurry rush in. He can do a horizontal attack as well that you can backflip out of the way, but I didn't see one here, so we're just going to do that. I elected to use Urbosa's Fury to also get some more damage in, which you can do, but I would probably use that for the second phase if you can. Same thing here. He's going to do a straight on attack. We're going to dodge that to the side, get our flurry rush in, and that's it. Super simple. Take him down and we'll move on to the second phase. Boom. The second phase is really hard because you only have 10 arrows, and it will take 3 arrows to critical hit him in a row to stagger him, drop him down to the ground where you can run up and get damage in. So I did the less efficient way in this video, but what you want to do is just make a Cryonis pillar in the water, jump off of it, and then just bullet time with your bow and just hit him 3 times, and it's going to make the whole process way simpler, I promise. Either way, he goes down, get up there, get some damage in, and repeat this process. If you're familiar with the fight before, obviously, you'll notice he'll throw these blocks at you. Just pop them with Cryonis, make a pillar, and bullet time him. If you're out of arrows, you can just climb this pillar yourself if you make it close enough, and you'll be in range with your spear to just get that last bit of damage in, which I did here, which is very convenient. But use those pillars, bullet time, second phase will be super easy, especially with that attack up buff, and he will go down no sweat. Alright, next up we have WINDBLIGHT Ganon. We notice we have a duplex bow. We have 5 bomb arrows and a lot of regular arrows and a regular bow. We're going to start with a regular bow and the regular arrows for this fight. And basically the strategy here is just stay in the air, wait for him to come out of his teleport, crit him into like 2 times until he goes down. I think it's just 2. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's 3. So hit him 3 times while you're in this bullet time. He'll go down to the ground. Drop down, pull out your sword, and just get some damage in. And we're basically just going to repeat that process for the first phase. It's very simple. Wait for him to come out of his teleport. Bullet time. Hit that crit spot until he's down. Then we're going to move on to phase 2. Phase 2 is pretty much exactly the same, except he just has like a couple extra attacks that don't really matter as long as you stick to the strategy. For second phase, we're just going to swap to the duplex bow and get the bomb arrows set up just to get that damage in, especially with attack up boost. This is going to help. We're going to bullet time and just spam him with all 5 bomb arrows right away out of the gate and just get that damage in. And then after that, you're just going to repeat the same process. Just go back to regular arrows, get up in the air, and shoot him until he's dead. You probably don't even have to like deal with him on the ground with melee damage. If you do, just stun him like the first phase and get that damage in, and then it'll be done. There we go. Okay. All right, and last and absolutely least is Thunderblight Ganon. This guy sucks. We all know it. He's annoying. No matter how many times you fought him, he's always a challenge. He's always super annoying, and this fight for me did not go very well either. However, there's a lot of things that, if you pay attention, will help you out a lot. You'll notice that you start with a metal sword and a non-metal sword, a metal shield and a non-metal shield. And that is very important. You're going to start phase 1 with your metal sword and your metal shield because they're stronger, they're going to do more damage, they're going to hold up. Even though the first phase is really the easier part and it's like not super difficult compared to the second phase, that's where the biggest like hint is going to come from. Because in the second phase, he goes all electric-y, and you're going to want to put on your non-metal stuff. So anyway, if he shoots these lightning ball things, you just kind of move out of the way. Here, it's the same thing as before. You're going to try and perfect parry that flurry rush that he does at you. You can also backflip that for a perfect dodge, but it is pretty difficult as well. Daruk's protection is obviously going to give you an auto parry if you fail your timing, but try to get that timing because any charges of Daruk's protection you have going into the second phase is going to help, but it's pretty standard here. Parry that flurry, get as much damage in as you can before he gets back up, reset, get him targeted, wait for that flurry, try and time that parry, get the damage in, get to the second phase. The first phase is always the easier part. The second phase is where it gets super challenging, especially here because we don't have a lot of gear. We don't have arrows, which would help out a lot. So instead, we're going to have to make do with what we got. We're going to switch to our non-metal weapon and shield. But first off, he always starts with this electric beam pillar thing. And you know how this goes. Pick one up, walk it over to him, get him to shock himself, and he'll go down. If you can get over to where he goes down after the shock, you can get a little bit of damage in ahead of time. I do not in this video, but that's okay. Either way, he's just going to start going back to his like normal attack patterns of flurry rushes, throwing those electric balls and stuff. But here's where we're going to swap to the non-metal stuff. I ended up breaking my non-metal shield, so I just used my metal one, but it worked out. Like I said, when he does that flurry, you can either backflip and time that right and get that perfect dodge, or if you time the perfect parry, you can get that. But parries on the second phase are very hard, so I recommend trying to just get that backflip. Instead, it works wonders. He'll shoot a laser out every now and then. Do your best to parry that. He doesn't go down. I think it just breaks his shield. And then right away, he'll just get it back pretty much. So there's not much you can do aside from either parry it or just line of sight that laser behind like a pillar or something. Either way, we got another flurry rush on that perfect dodge. So we're going to get a little bit of extra damage in here, and then we'll finish it off with a couple extra strikes. That's pretty much the fight, and that's pretty much the best that we can do without arrows anyway, and being able to just like bullet time, you know, some of the time where he's down on the ground and stunned. That's going to be the best way to get through that fight. So hopefully you get through it as well. Good luck. All right, with those 4 bosses out of the way and the final dungeon completed, we move on to our final boss of the Champion's Ballad DLC. This monk, he has many phases and many attacks, and we're going to talk about a few things that we see here. From the start, at the very beginning of the fight, he's just going to teleport around, kind of like the Giga Clan style. So you basically just want to listen for where he's appearing, get your damage in where you can, when he disappears, just listen to where he reappears again. Turn as quickly as you can. Get a target on him. He's going to do these flurry rushes just like Thunderblight Ganon does. You can backflip those. You can parry those and try and get those timings right. Get some extra damage in. That's pretty much this first phase. Just keep doing that as best as you can until you whittle him down to about a third of his health, and then he'll start his second phase. The second phase involves him making many clones of himself, and they will all circle you, and you can't really run up to them as they kind of like follow your path. So one of the strategies you can do is just use Urbosa's Fury, hits them all, except, and we'll leave the, the real guy left, so you can kind of run up and get a little bit of damage in. If you don't want to waste your charges and you want to save him for later, that's fine. The fight is a little just annoying at that point. You kind of just got to handle them either running at you, they'll jump up in the air and they'll all shoot arrows down at you. They'll form a straight line like this and kind of charge you. You can get most of them down and then they'll disappear. The real guy will stand there for a second. You can get a little bit of extra damage in, but it's pretty much the same thing. Just keep moving during this phase. He'll charge you, shoot arrows, just keep moving and you'll dodge them. The clones will disappear, the real guy will stand there for a second, and you'll get him down to the final phase where he's a giant guy. You'll notice that shooting him doesn't do any damage. However, deflecting his laser, unlike Thunderblight Ganon, will stun him and put him down on the ground where you can run up, get some damage in. I tried to hit Urbosa's Fury to get some extra damage in here, but as you can see, it doesn't really do a lot, so I recommend using them on the previous phase. Another attack he does here is this fissure, where you can actually use to get up in the air and get some bullet time action in. Just one arrow shot to the face stuns him, he goes down, and just spin to win. If he has a slow get up like this, you can just finish him off, which I was able to do. If not, he does have another attack where he will create a bunch of like metal spiky balls and throw them at you, and it's just like in Thunderblight Ganon where you have to pick up the metal pillar, put it next to him so it shocks himself. So just dodge the balls, pick him up, put it next to him, he'll go down, run up to him, and just spin to win with your best two-handed weapon, and you'll be able to take him down pretty easily. Hopefully this helps and gets you through it, and you enjoy your brand new Sheikah motorcycle, everybody. Thanks for watching. This has been Danny O. You have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time.